Hi, everybody. Welcome to the African Businesswoman podcast. This is the place where ambition meets culture and women like you and I rise, will build, and will lead with power. This is the place for your weekly dose of inspiration, strategy, and real talk for women, rewriting the business story of Africa. I am your host, Loveline Massey. Today's topic is a bit of an interesting one because I titled it a letter, but it's not really a letter to single African businesswomen. It's more of what to prepare for while you're a single African businesswoman before you get married, and some tips really on making that decision to get married. The reason why I am doing this topic is I feel like this is something that I wish I was told or things that I knew before I got married. Recently, I was in a circle, I just realized that these women are not really prepared. Now, a lot of them think they are, but some don't really know the impact that marriage can have on your journey as an entrepreneur, on your journey as a business person. And it can be a positive one and it can be a negative one. Now, one thing I want to make very clear as you listen to this podcast is I am not saying that it's either one of them because it could be both. I am giving this podcast based on my experience and really my perspective as well. But these are things that I wish I knew because I always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I always knew I wanted to be a business person. In fact, I always knew I wanted to travel. I wanted a business that will make me travel. I didn't want a business that will make me stay in one place. So having a business health guide is actually quite a great thing for me because it gives me that travel part and me having to deal with people from different countries, which I always wanted. But some of the things I knew I wanted to do this, and before I got married, I communicated this that this is what I wanted to do. You see, the thing is, all of this were not really and fully thrashed out. They were not fully discussed. The reality of what that would look like was not really discussed. African businesswomen that are single, can I just say this to you? If you are a businesswoman, a career woman, or an entrepreneur, if you meet a man who says to you that he is an absolutely core traditional man, you need to sit down with that man and have an extensive conversation on what he believes your role would be in that relationship, how he sees your vision come into light, how he sees your goals, your ambition come into light. Because one thing that I have learned is that men who are traditionalist or who claim that they are traditional men, that concept often clashes with being a strong African businesswoman. Because being an African businesswoman means going out there. You need to put in the hours, you need to put in the time, you need a support structure, you need someone who is going to pick up the slack before you even think about it. You need a true partner in every sense of the word. Having someone who is traditional really does not favor you as an African businesswoman because people who say they are traditional, they tend to be stuck to a certain mindset. And that mindset is they are superior to the woman, and the woman is the one who cares for the home. No matter what she is doing, she must listen to them. Their voice matters the most. They have to be the guide and the compass. Essentially, they have to be the alpha and omega. And I say that tongue in cheek, I'm being a bit sassy with that. But it's about them, and then you have to fit in. So you are trying to grow a business, grow a legacy, grow an empire, but they still want you to stay in this traditional role of a woman. And let's flip this around, really. Let's not make this look like it's only men, or rather, let me not make this look like it's only men who say they are traditional men. There are women who say they are traditional women. There's a movement called the trad wife movement. Now, if you are a man listening to this podcast and your hairs were raising when I said the other one. I just want to say to you guys, when you see a woman who says she's a trad wife or she is a traditional woman, just prepare yourself that that woman is going to likely depend on you for everything financially. So just manage your blood pressure, go out there and grind it, because boy, your pocket will be answering the call at every single point in time. Most people who are traditional women, they usually want to keep a job, a basic job. Their ambition is really capped. And there's nothing wrong with each of these concepts. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with being a traditional man. There's nothing wrong with being a traditional woman. You just need to make sure that the person that you are with complements that and can work with that. You know, in Africa, marriage is seen as an accomplishment. And I'm speaking from an African woman perspective. I don't know about any other culture. I've not experienced, I don't have a lived experience of any other culture apart from the African one. So there is that pressure on women that there's a trajectory for your life. You are born, you go to school, and at that point, everybody's looking at you that where is the man you're going to marry? Because your ambition and everything is suddenly tied to getting married. Now, if you miss the timeline for getting married, that's a whole different boat off. That's a whole different problem. And then you are seen as you have missed the chance. The problem is now you, right? The problem is essentially you. That's how society sees it. I want you to understand that your dreams and your visions that you have are very valid. And when you're preparing, when you're putting on all that work, you need to make sure that whoever you meet that's going to be your partner in life is truly your partner, not just marrying someone to be your husband and not just ticking a spot. You have to be mentally prepared. So you need to build your resilience in your mind. You have to know yourself. You have to know what you value. And you have to be able to, by all means, handle those uncles and aunties and parents who are putting that pressure on you, those societal pressures. You have to be able to manage them. Because you know what? You are out there preparing and creating multiple streams of income. So don't let yourself get carried away. Learn financial literacy. If you don't know how to manage money, get some skills, learn some things. Start investing now that you're single. I did not have any investment when I got married, because literally I finished my university degree, did a master's, got married. Like, I fulfilled the whole system. I followed that whole system. And you know, there's something to be said for that. I ended up having children early because I followed that system, which is good for the body. But at the same time, I had not really come into my own, into myself as a person. I have not stepped into my calling. And you see, when you have not stepped into your calling and you get married first, if you are not, if you marry somebody who clashes with that concept and your values and your vision for yourself, it will then become a problem for you later. Okay, you'll be trying to put a band-aid on it. Surround yourself with people who really who believe in your vision, and that includes the person you're going to marry. Communicate your vision clearly, have that conversation. Make sure you play, you know, for lack of a better way of saying it, devil's advocate with your vision, their vision. What does it all mean when you are together? Make sure you build strong networks while you're still single. Don't just wait till when you get married. Make sure you're grounded in your spirituality. If you believe in God, hey, make sure you find grounding in that. Make sure you make like time for to be in, you know, have peace, have moments with yourself. Anchor yourself in your faith and think future. And that future you're thinking, don't just get stuck with this thing. Because one thing I find a lot is women, some women that try to create a vision, that have a vision for themselves, when they then get married, their vision goes out the window. So you have to have this conversation with whoever you're getting married to, that this is my vision. What is your vision? What is your perspective on how visions work? Does your vision as a man supersede mine? That matters a lot if you are a business person. That matters a lot if you are an entrepreneur. Because if you are with someone whose vision supersedes yours, that is going to be a problem as you're trying to establish more things, because they will believe that their vision and their ideas and their words should determine what you do with your vision. Okay, So very, very important. Make sure they align. Now, I'm telling you all of this because this is stuff that I did not know. And even when you go to marriage counseling, they tell you discuss where your future is going, what vision does the man have for the family, and all of that. Back, when I got married, we were not really talking about how your future is in business. What is your career trajectory? What's your business plan? What do you plan to do with your future as an entrepreneur? It was not being dealt from that angle. I was not learning from that angle. But you need to think about vision from an entrepreneur's perspective before you get married. Okay, this brings me to the end of part 1 of my letter to single African businesswomen. You don't want to miss part 2. So I'm going to see you in the next episode. I am Loveland Bassi, and this has been the African Businesswoman podcast. Until next time, ladies, walk in power, lead with purpose, keep building, keep rising. Remember your legacy starts now, and never forget, Africa needs your voice. Bye.